Thomas collapses from overexhaustion, dreaming of past events. The moments aboard the 100 Phoenix before the Battle of Dunrig, his last moments with Shane before he left aboard the St. Fortune, and a strange creature rising up from the depths to destroy the very ship he boarded only a day ago. However, there's a fourth dream, one not of the past, but of the future. A strange mountain with water flowing up instead of down. All the while, voices can be heard declaring themselves into the night. Thomas awakens to find himself aboard the Dawn. He leads a band of misfits. Together they sail the open waters, explore the Dawn, and set a course for Toroa. Along the way, the Dawn comes across a man stranded on a piece of broken wood. He screams for help as he's currently being surrounded and attacked by two sharks. After helping him board the Dawn, Bethany and Thomas dive into the freezing night's ocean only to be attacked by one of the sharks that were circling the wrecked survivor, causing them to bail on the hastily planned cargo retrieval. Post days of travel on the ocean and a regained strength, the Dawn docks on Toroa. Bethany and Thomas see the island has been overpricing its citizens with a fee for docking and the overpriced goods. With Bethany predisposed at the brothel, Thomas enters the rundown bar to locate a man they call Kita. He explains to him what happened to Gotti and the events that led him here. Trusting his story from seeing the card that Gotti gave him, Kita lets him into a secret room, but not before Thomas helps to deal with some troublesome men calling themselves the Warriors of Toroa. Under the bar, Thomas learns of Gotti's past, Vice Admiral Monkey Decoy's whereabouts, and the locations of 3 men tied to Gotti's past, with a specific den mushy for each. Lastly, he finds a note with Gotti's personal logs of where his allies are and his desire to call his children, when something catches Thomas's eye. A blueprint to some kind of machine. Thomas investigates Gotti's bunker further, finding a map of the West Blue with 6 locations on it, and a note speaking about something called the Void Project to a man called Jafar. Thomas attempts to call on each of the Den mushy, only the one labeled Luciano picks up, only to swiftly hang up. Having investigated everything in the bunker, Thomas finds himself in a conflict with the Warriors of Toroa as he returns to the bar above. After the battle concludes, Thomas agrees to help Kita and Misa retrieve Kita's dog being held captive in the Warriors of Toroa hideout. Kita sets his own bar aflame. Then Bethany and Thomas take all the documents to the Dawn, where 3 town guards seem to be inspecting the Dawn. Thomas, Bethany, Kita, and Misa all go over a plan in the nearby tavern to sneak into the Warriors of Toroa hideout. The plan involves Misa and Bethany causing an explosive distraction in the nearby forest while Kita and Thomas sneak in during the commotion. The plan is set to go at midnight. Thomas exits the room to find a hooded figure listening in on their conversation. Bethany is sent after them while Thomas heads to the Grand Lodge of Absalom. Here, Thomas convinces Sarah to assist in the heist tonight. Back at the Dawn, Bethany mentions how he followed the person into the forest where he found some weird cult. Thomas investigates the documents once more and finds 2 that he didn't notice before, speaking of Amanda's inability to swim and Luciano being the one to make Gotti's gun arm. Before the scheme at midnight, Thomas and Bethany go for ramen at a nearby stand, run by a man named Cavalier from a place called Top City. Together you rest and the plan is a go as the clock strikes midnight. Through an underground passageway, Thomas hears once more of a man with a concrete face. This comes after another speaks of bananas to deal with that thing. Finally, inside the hideout, Thomas makes his way to the 2nd floor looking for the dog. He passes all types of animals in cages all along the way when an explosion goes off in the distance, likely Bethany and Misa's doing. Thomas splits up from Kita to cover more ground, and he finds himself in a dark room, a well-lit cage, and a gorilla sitting atop a mountain of banana peels in front of him. Thomas meets a gorilla mink, and together with Kita, they skirmish with the Warriors of Toroa on the 2nd floor. With help from a terrified woman named Catherine, they soon escape this mountain hideout, but not before releasing the caged mammals and finding a German Shepherd, Q, hidden away in Lawlet's office. The 3 of them leave for the forest, and with darkness thick, Thomas is injured by a saber-toothed tiger attacking from the forest. After a quick suplex of the ferocious kitty, it scampers off, and our party find themselves in front of a large vegetation dome. The gorilla mink swiftly disarms the Warriors of Toroa attacking the dome, and our heroes reunite with Bethany, Sarah, and Misa. The party go over a new plan to split up while Sarah is unconscious. Bethany's group move through the forest, heading back to town to get Linda and take the Dawn in order to wrap around and pick up Thomas's group, who are heading to Simplex to confront Lawlet and Riverstone. With a small force of Warriors of Toroa regathered outside the dome, the plan is a go. Misa's explosion is set off, and suddenly the Warriors of Toroa begin to retreat as their numbers begin to fall. Just then, blocking their exit is 5 horses galloping into view from the thick forest. The riders, wearing hoods, taking out the Warriors of Toroa one by one. The leader of the riders approaches our party. She reveals that the man they've been chasing, Riverstone of the Black Marble, is actually Captain Antonio Kenway's right-hand man. The riders on horses declare themselves to be the Libre Luce, freedom fighters from Lost Camp on Toroa, to track down and defeat Riverstone in order to get an edge on the Moonlight Pirates. The party travel through a cave filled with reptiles. The cave leads them to Simplex as Thomas learns from Alice that Kenway has taken an interest in him. You split from the Libre Luce when you arrive in Simplex and head to a small shop in which a teenager sells the group gear for their journey. During this, Monroe hallucinates a giant banana. Just then, Alice is thrown into a nearby building by Riverstone, but stands back up despite this. The party engages the crazed pirate soon after speaking with Lawlet on a Denden Mushi. Lawlet offers Kita a way out of the situation, but Kita stands firm in his belief. He locates and attacks Lawlet as our pirate boys rush the building, only to find Lawlet making a quick escape. Our crew is briefly attacked by Riverstone, then swiftly pinned down by Lawlet's sniper fire. 2 Denden Mushi can be heard, as Lawlet stops his rifle suppression. Regrouping, the boys head to the dock, only to find many dead Marines. At that moment, Bethany, piloting the Dawn in the distance, straight into the island. He drifts the still-moving ship into the side of the island as our party quickly jump on. Alice rides a horse next to the Dawn as it picks up speed, telling Thomas he'll have an ally with them on Lost Camp if they decide to join them in their fight against Antonio Kenway. With Bethany dropping off Kita and Misa at their ship, the Cindy II, it seems the reason he is frantic is due to Monkey Decoy's flagged ship, the St. Anne, chasing the Dawn. Nearly caught by the St. Anne's cannons, our crew managed to escape Toroa. They set a course for Chibana, a nearby island where they can regroup with Kita and Misa. On Chibana, Kita introduces them to a strange person named Mr. Doppel. He contacts the Dean of Ohada, giving Sarah and Linda a safe place away from the eyes of the Marines. Sarah creates banana shrubs on the deck of the Dawn before Thomas gives her half of his sea stone ring to suppress her devil fruit powers. Monroe heads to bed after having a talk and receiving an explosive present from Misa. Thomas and Bethany say their final goodbyes to the passengers of the Cindy II after Thomas leaves Sarah with a story from his past about his family. Monroe cuddles the dynamite he received from Misa, dreaming of past events that led him to the fateful moment when he met Thomas. The day he learned of Clockwork Island from his grandpa Saru, his final moments seeing his best friend Karin. Leaving the Scarlet Pirates an explosive present, his journey across the Combelt aboard the Saint Equality led by Marine Captain Oenu, a hallucination of a kid-sized banana on Kano country that led him to his capture before waking up in a cage on Toroa with Lawlet in the room with him. After these past events of this dream, Monroe wakes to find himself aboard the Dawn. Together, the 3 delinquents decide to go shopping on Chibana for wood to upgrade the Dawn. There, they meet a woman named Violet. She sells the crew pine wood, and Thomas learns she's from Nadia, Kita's hometown. After that, they meet locals Oliver and Valerie. They help by giving Thomas the location to his own hometown, Cosmel Island. He also warns Thomas of a woman with an anchor necklace digging holes and acting suspicious on Cosmel the last time Oliver was there. The crew have a quick spitball session for a crew name to this ragtag group. Then they set sail, leaving Chibana in the distance. Almost a full week aboard the Dawn goes by as our crew cook various foods, train their combat prowess against each other, narrowly escape an encounter with another ship, a ship with a wolf emblem on the sails, almost run ashore as they cross a sandbar with a sunken ship under the ocean tide, and cross paths with a news coup telling them to respect the figures known as the Celestial Dragons. Thomas attempts a call on Luciano's Denden Mushi, again answering, but the two exchange few words as the call drops once more. Finally, after 6.5 days on the open ocean, the crew set eyes on land in the distance. Bethany, taking the spyglass in the crow's nest, shares with Thomas a view that might put urgency into his heart. Seen on a ship docked on Cosmel Island is the Moonlight Pirates' Jolly Roger. The crew continue forward and dock on Cosmel Island, after which entangling themselves in a skirmish with the Moonlight Pirates. During the battle, the crew meet 2 of the 5 silent samurai. They're warrior women with strange swords, each of them having a tattoo of the Moonlight Pirate Jolly Roger on their necks. Soon the 2 exit the battle for now, only for a man with 1 leg to arrive and somehow convince the Moonlight Pirates infantry to stand down. This man turns out to be Shane Villeneuve, the man that sailed as the Hook Pirates' first mate, saved Thomas at the Battle of Dunrig, and brought him to the West Blue. He leads the party back to his house, the same house where Thomas spent over 3 years regaining his strength. This is the house he considers to be home. There he reunites with people from his past, and is filled in by Shane as to what's been going on in the past few weeks that Thomas has been gone. In a moment of sincerity, Shane gives Thomas his old Jolly Roger from before he joined the Hook Pirates. Together, the five hatch a hastily made plan to destroy the ship carrying the Sea Stone. They make their way quickly, with no time to waste. When they arrive, it seems they've lost the element of surprise as they've been waiting for them. No other option. They engage the full force of the Silent Samurai. This results in a failed attempt to sink their ship, and Shane protecting Thomas from a fatal blow that was meant for him. Shane once again sacrificing himself to save Thomas, but instead of losing a leg this time, it's his life. There, on the shore, they steel their resolve as Antonio Kenway and Gallows George speak to them through a Denden Mushi, a solemnness in the air. They follow Thomas as he carries the body of Shane to Ravenwood. There, Shane is buried, and instead of a gravestone, Thomas uses the picture the two of them took on their first day as farmhands together. It's here that Crawler reveals himself to be Tors, Thomas's once best friend that trained alongside him and Shane. He thought him to be dead. He promises to stay on the island and get stronger to protect their home island from any threat that arrives. Finally, after only half a day back on Cosmo Island, the crew of the Dawn set a course for Lost Camp with a strengthened resolve to take down the captain of the Moonlight Pirates, Antonio Kenway.